We need to have a serious conversation about a few things in and around Manchester United. We need to talk about the left wing back situation. We need to talk about the midfield situation. We need to talk about Elliot Anderson, priority midfield signing, surely. We need to talk about Casemiro, his importance this season. We want to talk about, is things good right now at Manchester United? Because we're unbeaten for 4 games in a row, 12 points out of 15, 13 points out of 15 is pretty good form. And there's a problem at Man United when it comes to breaking down low blocks, and Amorim is getting blamed for this. But is this really an Amorim problem? Because I don't really remember us comfortably breaking down low blocks under Eric Ten Hag. Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome to your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup, where we're going to be rounding up all the latest topics in and around Manchester United in the next 10 minutes, and sort of breaking down sort of 5 areas and things that we learned from yesterday's game, and having conversations about what's being said about yesterday's game, what we learned, and what Manchester United need to do. So if you do enjoy today's video, feel free to hit that like button, and of course subscribe down below if you're new. So I said Manchester United should make Elliot Anderson their priority transfer target this summer. He's mint. I think Man United need to prioritise Elliot Anderson. I think we should prioritise him over Baleba. I was Baleba's biggest fan. I like Carlos Baleba. But this season, Carlos Baleba's not been great. Elliot Anderson's been mint. And Elliot Anderson's proven he can do it on the ball, off the ball. He's done it for England in a different setup. He's done it for Nottingham Forest. Elliot Anderson was the best player on the pitch yesterday. If you can get both, brilliant. All this talk about Adam Morton, this and that, I prefer Elliot Anderson. Right now, I don't think there's a midfielder I want more than Elliot Anderson, and I wanted Baleba big time, but Baleba's been crap this season. Elliot Anderson has been fantastic. He's shining in a poor Forest side, and also Elliot Anderson was fantastic last season. I actually did a video speaking about Elliot Anderson in March of last year before there was any hype around him, saying this guy could maybe get called up to the England squad in March. He's been very good, and I'd given him a shout out because I thought he was an impressive player. I think he's phenomenal. I think he would partner Maino really well in the midfield too. I also think if you do bring in a Wharton or an Angelo Stiller, that could work really well. I think Casemiro has been really good this season. We're going to talk about Casemiro, but we know that Manchester United need a midfield overhaul. And one thing about Amorim's setup is sometimes it feels like we have one less player in midfield because we often do it going up against midfield threes as a midfield two, and obviously Cunha can drop deeper and act as that third player. But Elliot Anderson for Forest, it sometimes feels like Forest have an extra man with Elliot Anderson on the pitch. I think the Elliot Andersons, the Sandro Tonalis, are the kind of players we need at Manchester United. We need a midfielder massively, and I think we should be going all out for Elliot Anderson. If we can get Baleba or Wharton on top of Elliot Anderson as well, that would be great. You know, last summer we were talking about Semenyo, Cunha and Bouma as 3 players that we liked, and we wanted Man United to get 2 of them. Wharton, Baleba and Anderson are the 3 players we like, and I want Man United to get 2 of them. But I think it's becoming increasingly obvious that Manchester United also need a left wing back. Now, I will say this, I think there's a good player in Dorgu. I think we need to be patient with Dorgu. I do think he's probably better suited to a back 4, but I do think that Dorgu is better than Delo. I do think that Dorgu is better than what we're seeing this season, and I do think we saw encouraging signs of Patrick Dorgu and what he could bring in pre-season. I think there's a good player there that needs a bit of confidence. I think his final ball could improve, but I do think he's quite good at getting the ball and driving it forward. And I do like Patrick Dorgu, but he's very raw. It would be nice for United to bring in maybe a ready-made left wing-back or a more proven left wing-back. And interestingly, Ben Jacobs did touch upon this when he was interviewed on the United Stand. Ben Jacobs on other January targets. If Xerxes departs, there's room to add a striker in January. Again, if the right target presents itself and fullback is still there too. Ben Jacobs is saying, despite us knowing that midfield's the priority, I think United have realised because their midfield targets are Elliot Anderson, Baleba and Wharton, despite midfield being the priority, I think Man United are like, we'll go for that in the summer. It's not realistic in January. But Ben Jacobs actually said, you know, United are looking at the possibility of bringing in a wing-back in January, of bringing in a full-back in January. And we didn't think we were looking at one. Now, I said in the summer, I think a left wing-back and a midfielder would be the ideal window on top of what we had. Because if I look at the way Amorim wants to play, his wing-backs are so important to that. And I do think that Amorim's system, if you got everybody in that he needed, it could work. How much better are we when Delo was at right wing back with Mbeumo right 10? Not Delo, sorry, Amad. Amad Diallo was at right wing back with Mbeumo right 10. We're miles better than when Delo plays. We look so much more dangerous and threatening when Amad plays at right wing back than when Delo plays. And I think if we can get that threat on the left wing back, because Delo isn't that threat and Dorgu's very young and inconsistent. I mean, he could try Luke Shaw and see if it works. Molassi's not going to bring that. if we can get that left wing back, whether it be Semenyo, who can then rotate left 10 if need be, and we get a good squad depth for in Europe next season, I think that left wing back can make such a difference, because I think if we get a midfielder that can help in central build up and we get 2 attacking wing backs, it makes a massive difference, because we only lost 1 game all season that both Ahmad and Casemiro have started. Only 1. So I look at it and I think, well, Ahmad, we're so much better when Ahmad plays, and I'm worried about AFCON, but we're also a lot better when Casemiro plays. And I'm going to talk about Casemiro in a second, but there's one thing that really frustrates me, and probably a lot of you guys. No fullbacks made more interceptions than Alvaro in the top 5 leagues. He pocketed Lamine Yamal. He scored a fantastic goal against Valencia yesterday. The fact that we never even played this guy, we never even gave him a debut, Ten Hag was like, go, because we wanted to keep a Malacia that was injured, is crazy. Malacia and Luke Shaw were injured. It's not like we got rid of Alvaro because Malacia and Luke Shaw were both playing, they're both playing well, and they're both fit. They were injured. We didn't have a left back. We had Lindelof at left back, Delo at left back, Amrabat at left back, when we could have had this guy. And look, he's not played left wing back. Maybe he won't fully suit Amorim's system as a left wing back, but he looks unreal. He's very good defensively. I just think, sometimes I look at it and I think, we made a big mistake with Alvaro. And the annoying thing about Alvaro is, it's not, at least with Alanga, we gave him a few minutes and we thought, you know what, decent player, but probably not going to be Man United level. With Alvaro, he never got the opportunity that at least we gave Alanga, or at least we gave other young players like Garnacho. He should have had an opportunity and he never got it. Even Forson got an opportunity. Ten Hag gave Forson minutes over Ahmad, which is mad. But yeah, we got to talk about Casemiro. Now, Man United have only conceded, I think, like 4 goals all season when Casemiro's been on the pitch, which is nuts. But Casemiro has also contributed to 32 goal contributions since joining Man United. Casemiro is a number 6. Just to put that into context, we talk about McTominay and his goal contributions. Casemiro is beating that. Casemiro, as a number 6 at Manchester United, has been hit and miss. He was phenomenal in his first season. His second season, he wasn't great. Then he picked up a little bit at the back end of his second season. And then the third season, he didn't start well, but then he picked up. Casemiro was really important at the back end of last season for us. And this season, he's been very good. Casemiro is a 5 times Champions League winner. He was unbelievable in our first season, got benched by Ruben Amorim in his was poor and almost was pushed out last year. Instead of sitting on the bench and crying like Garnacho, because he must have felt humiliated, 5 times Champions League winner, and I'm on the bench and I can't get in this Man United side that isn't very good. He put his head down, he went to the gym, he worked hard, and he came back even stronger. Casemiro is probably having a fantastic season, a very underrated season. I've noticed the last few games when we've taken Casemiro off, we just collapse because Casemiro's got that defensive awareness. And I feel like we're really struggling without that. But then I feel like Casemiro was really good the first 60 minutes versus Forest, and then his legs went. If we could give Casemiro some brand new legs, he would be fantastic, because 32 goal contributions in 3 seasons to Manchester United is nuts. He's getting like 10 goal contributions a season as a DM for Manchester United. He's popping up with goals, he's popping up with assists, but he's popping up in important moments. Do you remember the really good comeback versus Lyon? Those last 3 goals all came through Casemiro. He's been good. I want to give a shout out to Bruno, who I thought did have a good game yesterday. Bruno, that some of our fan base don't rate and think is the problem, which is nuts to me. But no Premier League midfielder has more assists than Bruno since he made his debut. I just don't understand how people don't rate Bruno. I get he doesn't fully suit Amorim's system, and I think long term we will replace him. But Bruno is such a good player. The little touches, the flicks, the tricks was phenomenal. And while I'm a bit sad that we dropped points yesterday and I felt that we could have won that game, and I didn't like that Amorim waited so late to make subs and he didn't make attacking subs, we drew the game. We're still unbeaten in 4. It'd be nice to win 4 in a row so the guy could cut his hair and all of this. But at the end of the day, we're unbeaten in 4. We can be relatively positive. But a lot of people are saying, look, I haven't seen United break down a low block under Amorim. And I do agree that Amorim should have made attacking subs, and I do agree that Amorim should have changed the approach attacking-wise. He made defensive subs. And I'm someone that's been very critical on Amorim. And I haven't seen us break down a low block under Amorim, and that is a concern. Because I sometimes feel like if you look at the Europa League final, that game could have gone on for another hour, we wouldn't have scored. You look at the Arsenal game where we played all right, it could have gone for an hour, it wouldn't have scored. We do struggle with low blocks under Amorim, and he doesn't seem to change it or think, you know what, I'll quickly go to a back 4 just to give us another attacking body on to break down this team. But I don't think this is an Amorim problem. We really struggle to break down low blocks under Ten Hag. You know, as someone that has been critical of Amorim, I think breaking down low blocks is an issue. But I don't think it's an Amorim issue. I think it's a squad issue. I think it's something that we've struggled to do in a while. And I'm just interested to know your guys' thought and if you agree with me. Anyway, thank you for watching today's video. We're sort of talking about 5 topics from yesterday's game. I'm intrigued to know your thoughts down below. See you next time. Bye.